You really have to be prepared for this. Like getting the equipment is this fine, all that. It's okay. But going through what happens after you take off that live button, like you turn that live button off, the stream is done, and everything else it is that you go through is what is the hardest part about with streaming. The easiest is always going live. But since it is we were talking about people that be on, YouTube and also with Twitch as well. Let's get into this. Patrick Scene. Love love your videos, man. I really do. But let's get into this. The exploitation of Pokimane. Now, this is something that's like I'm gonna think about it is if I'm gonna post this up onto my YouTube or not. I'm gonna think about if this is what I want to do, but let's go ahead and let's react to it. Let's get into the video, y'all. Let's do it.
In the past few years, live streamers have become some of the most famous and financially successful online creators. They usually have die-hard, cult-like fan bases who are willing to watch them sit at a desk for hours on end. But there is a major cost that comes with this type of attention: doxing, swatting, harassment, bullying, public scrutiny, obsessive fans, deepfakes, and even manipulation from corporate employees. Pokimane has been one of the top female streamers in a space that is very much dominated by men. At her peak, she was averaging 40,000 viewers, which is the equivalent of a sold-out Major League Baseball stadium in the United States. She has been subject to a lot of controversy in her near decade-long streaming career. Now, some of these incidents have been brought on by herself, but for a lot of them, she seems to be a pawn in a much bigger problem. And it's reached a tipping point, starting to realize that all the money might not be worth the risk to be in her position.
I will say this about with Twitch, like, yes, as much as it is that I love to stream, I love putting out content and everything, but even like for me having to take a break literally like 2 weeks ago because of the amount of like nerve damage and stress and everything like that that comes from it, this is it's a job. It is for sure. But I can say it is that I love doing this. I do, but it's not cut out for everybody. Streaming is not. I know a lot of people try to ask me the question of just like, what does it take to be a streamer? This, and this. Like, I could tell you down to every single bit of equipment it is that I have. But you have to be very prepared for the emotional and physical damage that this does for you, especially if you're consistent as much as it is that I am. I try to stay very consistent with this. Anybody can tell you, anybody that is that streams on a consecutive basis can tell you straight up. It's just like, yo, you have to take breaks within this. Like you just do mentally. Now of course, like numbers go down, like your subs and everything like that. All that shit goes down. But like just to take breaks from it, it's just it helps out a lot. Yeah, mentally as well. I said emotionally, but like mental things is. I can always handle the emotional and the mental part, but it's the physical part where it's just like, damn, this shit is really like taking a toll on my body. So, and mind you, like I've never gotten swatted. And thankfully it is I've never done that. But there's people it is that I know who've gotten swatted multiple times. And that is literally the most scariest thing in the world. To go ahead and try to dox somebody or to get them swatted is not funny in any form or way. You're putting this person at so much harm, and it gets to the point to where now you gotta create an alias to where these people don't sit there and try to like search up like where it is that you live, your real name, who did you went to school with, people is you've dated before in the past, like stuff like that. Really, it's scary because then it goes ahead and like you know what I mean. Like all it takes is just a tweet or a video or something like that, and then it's just like your audience is now at jeopardy. Everything it is that you worked hard for, boom. You know what I mean? So there's a lot. There is, yes, especially within our community. Yes, you really have to be prepared for this. Like getting the equipment is this fine, all that. It's okay. But going through what happens after you take off that live button, like you turn that live button off, the stream is done, and everything else it is that you go through is what is the hardest part about with streaming. The easiest is always going live. Even when people like say some stupid shit within the chat, like boom, that's not that bad compared to everything else that is that you go through. It's not easy. So I give
Stay hydrated. Since
my
the
props
beginning
to
of her
everybody
career,
who does this,
Pokimane
including
has been
myself.
accused of having pretty privilege, which is essentially the idea that being attractive makes it much easier to gain success at whatever you do. This argument definitely does have some truths, but it's often used to minimize the work that women or men have put in to gain all of their notoriety. Pokimane has been streaming consistently for almost 10 years. She had amassed 20,000 followers on Twitch in 2014 before graduating high school. And although it seems like an easy job, being entertaining for hours on end, day in and day out, while
It is
sitting at
not
a
easy.
desk is very difficult. But she did benefit from the lack of competition. In 2014, Twitch only had around 300,000 daily active viewers. Her game of choice was League of Legends, which is still the most watched game of all time on Twitch, by a lot. A young woman who was genuinely interested in the game at that time was extremely rare. On top of being entertaining with her audience and good at the game, she was destined for success. And of course, the way she looked didn't hurt. Many of her followers were likely men who felt like they could hang around a girl who plays their favorite game, watches anime, and understands meme culture. She was every Reddit and Discord mod's dream girl. Some of her fans would send her hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for a brief interaction, to say their name and thank them for their generosity. These men are often referred to as simps, and they can get extremely out of control. Simp is a slang insult for men who are seen as too attentive and submissive to women, especially out of a failed hope of winning some entitled sexual attention or activity from them. The word simp is actually banned on Twitch because it's seen as bullying, but it's likely banned because Twitch profits so much from these men that they want to do everything they can to protect them, and in return...
Ooh. Ooh. Damn. No, well, well, I ain't gonna say it isn't he wrong. I ain't gonna say it isn't he wrong, but listen, you know. But there are some people. Yes, there are people that will do whatever it is that they can to try to at least like. He said, "You can't convince me otherwise." There are some people that try to go into the chat to try to say anything and whatnot. And if it isn't saying something goofy into the chat to where it is potentially being banned for or timed out for, you know, yes, they do give subs and do donate as well. I've seen people do a lot. Yo, so Lola, I've seen a lot of people go ahead and donate a lot of money. But the weirdest thing that comes from it is this sense of entitlement that comes from it. Like they go ahead and they do this and they watch you, and especially it is if like it's on a consecutive basis that they come into your streams and you're like a regular person and whatnot. They feel a sense of connection with you. Fine. But it becomes weirded when it's just like you feel like it is because you gave this streamer money or you gave them like, you know, donations, gifted subs, bits, or whatever the case may have you, is that like that person in return has to give them something as well. And it's like, wait, that's not how that works. Like you willingly went ahead and supported the streamer. If fans or butts or whatever. But the fact is like you're expecting something or you think in your mind that you're going to get with this streamer. It's a little bit weird. And I can attest to you, I've experienced it. A couple other people have experienced this as well. To where it happens, unfortunately, happens a lot more with us than with men. Not to say it is that it doesn't happen with men, because I've seen a lot of people who go ahead and I mean be down bad tremendous, especially if he's good looking at that. And if they don't know if it is like if he has like a relationship or whatever the case may have you, oh yeah, then they're gonna go rampant. But there's like supporting cool, but there's such like a thin lining between support and just like, all right, yeah, you're doing this in hopes of thinking it is that you're going to get with this person. That's when it just becomes like very fucking weird. And it's like, yeah, nah, not all money is good money.
Pokey is the one who gets blamed because she doesn't shame these men for giving her money. A video titled "Simp Willingly Goes Homeless for Pokimane" was uploaded in May of 2020 by It's a Gundam, which used several examples of interactions between Pokimane fans to highlight just how dangerously obsessed some of them appear to be. It's a Gundam came across grown men committing the heinous crime of sad cringe. I'm kinda short on savings, but I'll defo get $500 to drop this week, LMAO. Hope she sees this and knows I love her and miss her. Then somebody replies, only $500? Pathetic. Get your bread up. OP.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Hey, yeah, there's something wrong with this. There's just something wrong with this, gang. Jesus Christ. You mean to tell me it is y'all ain't paying y'all bills, but y'all going ahead and putting that same money towards like your favorite streamer? Something's just not right. I don't know who's more down bad. Right. Like this is detrimentally down bad. Like Jesus Christ.
I got evicted because I was 4 months behind on rent, so yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I can sleep behind a Starbucks so I can use the free Wi-Fi and donate the rest of my money.
What is this? What? What? They're dead ass. I can't even sit there and say is this real? Because I know that it is. That's the crazy thing. You know how much I you know how much I can do with 500. Listen, like, and this is the thing about with this as well. That is another thing that people do when it comes down to donations. With bits, you can't do this. I do believe you could do this with gifted subs, but donations you could do because on donations you actually have to go to actual like a link to actually donate money to a streamer. There has been times it is that people will go ahead and donate and then they dare to try to ask for the money back by like, going to the bank and saying it is like, like it happens. I see it. Like, there's people that's during hype train, people are donating, people are gifted subs, putting in high bits and everything. And you get to the point to where it's like, all right, you want to contribute as well, but then you start overdoing it. You start putting in a little bit more out than what it is that you know that you don't have into your bank account. So when you see that statement, you looking at it, you just like, well, damn. Fucking ambulance that was just passing by me. Like you see the statement and you just like, damn. I put in way too much into this. So then you start trying to get the money back. And that's like, you just gave that money to the streamer and then you just gonna ask for it back? Like, you gonna ask for it back? So sometimes it is like, with stuff that's like that, I know it is that people do this like out of the kindness of their heart and whatnot, but sometimes it is you just gotta be like, listen, just give it back. Just give it back. I know a few other streamers have talked about that before, but it's like, look, if you know it is that you cannot afford to actually keep doing this, don't put that money out. Please don't put out money it is that you know that you cannot afford. Then you sitting there eating some like barely eating like some ramen throughout the rest of the week until it is you get paid, and not everybody gets paid every week. And just to go a couple days without like, any type of funds is crazy. Let alone 2 weeks. Let alone if you get paid once a month. Mercy agrees. So that's why I'm just like, come on, you gotta be careful with that, gang. Be careful with this.
Live in a day and age where men are shaming each other for not giving a woman who's already a millionaire the last bit of money they have. Welcome to 2020. It is a horrible time in history.
Pokimane reacted to It's a Gundam video and dismissed all the embarrassing tweets as fake. And still to this day, it's unclear if the tweets were real or not. Even if they were fake, it sadly isn't too far from the mentality of some men that watch her streams. But Poki committed a YouTube cardinal sin, going after the sponsor of the video.
I actually can't believe anyone would sponsor these shenanigans.
She got a lot of heat from YouTubers for this, since it's considered a low blow to go after someone's livelihood because she didn't like the content. The situation is ironic because Gundam was also kind of going after Poki's livelihood by bullying people that pay her money. Even if these men have extremely unrealistic expectations, Poki was defending her fans, which seems like what most people would do in that situation.
It's
Either
true.
way, she apologized.
I mean, I get where it is that she's coming from, like those are her supporters and everything, but I, as a streamer, I just would not want y'all to just be sleeping in a car or sleeping behind a Starbucks to get Wi-Fi in order to watch me when you don't have a home. Like that, then now I gotta think morally into this. It's just like, yo, I would not want y'all to be in something that's like that. You know what I mean? Granted, I know it is like we get able to watch whomever through like our phones and everything like that, but Come on now. Sometimes it is like, listen, you got to make sure it is that you good at the end of the day, bro. Make sure it is that you good, and then go ahead and watch the streamers. That's all it is that I could ask, you know? But all right, let me give you 10 subs real quick. Stop. Like stuff like that, like, you know, I would appreciate, like, don't get me wrong. You're appreciative when it comes down to like whoever donates or does subs or bits or anything like that. But like I would be kind of crushed to know it is that like you're homeless, but you just spent all this money on me. Then that makes me kind of look like a fucked up person. You know what I mean? That makes me look morally. It's just like, damn, I feel like I have to give that back. That would be in a situation to where it is, I'd have to give that back to you. I could not live with myself if I knew that. Like if somebody is like a person who's always coming into the streams and like that's what their situation is, it's like, yo, that's crazy. I would feel really bad.
I want to sincerely apologize to both It's a Gundam and to the sponsor of that video for the remarks and comments that I made.
Who just donated? Who just donated to me? Yo, Elijah, thank you so much for the dollar donut. I appreciate you.
I completely understand people's concern for going after someone else's livelihood.
But this wasn't the first time she had to apologize. There was another controversy that resurfaced from 2014 where she said the N-word.
Nick, you ain't funny. That's not true. Maybe you're just boring as fuck and lame as hell. Cause only lame say that shit.
She immediately
Mike, yo, what's up, Mike? How you doing? How you doing? She did say this. Sometimes it is, I be quoting this too, just for like shits and giggles or whatnot. But I got, you know, I don't, listen, with Pokimane, I don't want no type of smoke with Pokimane, okay? I know what it is she's capable of getting rid of people's pages, which is why I'm just like, I don't know if it is I want to post this. He said, I'll take the smoke. Nah, I'm cool.
really took to Twitter to try and explain herself.
I'm
Hard for me
A-okay.
to speak on this clip's context because it's so old. I'm almost 23 and was underage in that clip, but it was definitely not said in a racist or derogatory manner, she said, adding, it was a time period and environment where saying it was more common and used as a replacement for dude, and I've never said it in a racist way, hard R either. Almost everyone below this
I can't give you that. I can't give you that. Nah. Just sit there and say this is like, oh, that was when it was underage, just this and this. That's no. You can't use that as an excuse, gang. You can't use that as an excuse. I'm sorry. You can't do that. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. I'm sorry.
This tweet rallied in support for Pokimane, pointing out that this expose seemed like digging up old, irrelevant clips of someone with the sole purpose of publicly humiliating them out of spite. However, as Pokimane became more and more popular, this clip resurfaced often. She apologized for the second time in 2020.
I've commented on this in the past, but honestly, my statement or comments then weren't even good enough, even though people were very understanding. I just want to make it clear that I am genuinely so sorry if I hurt or offended anyone with what I said. I really wish I could go back in time and change the past. Unfortunately, I can't, but I do hope that my behavior in regards to language for the last couple of years and onwards will speak for itself.
Keep in mind at this point in 2020, she was easily the largest female Twitch streamer and one of the top streamers, period. She is now an owner of Offline TV, which is essentially a streamer production house consisting of her friends that create content together and individually. They all work together and use their network to grow everyone's social media presence. And at the time, all of the biggest streamers were collaborating with each other to play the game Among Us. Everything that she was doing was being very meticulously watched and analyzed. This is when a large amount of hate started pouring in. People expressed their disdain for Pokimane, saying her personality was fake, forced, and only saying and doing things to fit what she thinks her brand should be. I think it's also worth mentioning that people expect YouTubers and streamers to be 100% themselves because they give off this assumption that they are normal people and not acting. But it's almost always an enhanced version of themselves. Like my second channel is just me wearing goofy glasses and being overly animated. I mean, that is me or a side of me, but it also has elements of a character. But her N-word controversy would resurface again in 2022, and this time it took a twist nobody could have ever predicted. This controversy involves the very popular comedy YouTuber Gideon, who was
Can we get this man's page back, please?
Is just starting up his Twitch account in January of 2022. Gideon is known for being a troll, but his intentions are pure. He reacted to a video of Pokimane saying the N-word. Then he tweeted the video. Then 1 week later, on January 13th, Gideon goes live to more than 10,000 viewers. He had more viewers than Pokimane after his first week on the platform. So he instructed his viewers to go to her stream and spam the phrase L plus ratio, which was his way of trolling and bragging to her. Pokimane was simply minding her business. So why did he go after her? Well, because she is known as the Queen of Twitch, and trolling her is kind of a meme. But militarizing his audience is known as hate raiding, which is against TOS on Twitch. As she is getting flooded with spam, people start telling her that it's coming from Gideon, to which he gets mad at them for snitching. And then he says this.
If you're from Pokimane, if you're from Pokimane's chat,
Yo.
Not this motherfucker right here.
and you have a penis, I'm gonna tell you this right now. She is not gonna you, bro. I don't care how much you donated. I don't care how many hours you watch her. She's not gonna you, bro. She has a man's. Bro, you probably don't want to hear this. You probably don't want to hear this. But I'm sorry. I'm going to break the fourth wall. And spoiler alert, she's getting down every night by another nigga. She is getting down, deep stroked. Balls deep.
Oh, no.
Balls banging on the wall.
No.
Every night.
Pokimane responded to the harassment by saying whoever was responsible, if you get banned, I'm not going to be sad, and then ended her stream. But the story gets a little weirder when Ninja somehow got alerted about what was happening, and he got in contact with Gideon to let him know that he was screwed.
I promise you guys, there's literally nothing I can do.
Ninja was right. Once Twitch became aware of the incident, they banned Gideon for 14 days, which later turned into a permanent ban following an appeal prior to his 14-day ban period. People suspected that Gideon received such a harsh consequence because Pokimane is regarded as Twitch's golden child that they will do anything to protect. After Gideon updated his social media followers on the state of his Twitch account, people instantly began blaming Poki. Pokimane clarified the following day that she had nothing to do with Gideon's ban and claimed that Gideon and his fans were targeting her because she's a woman. The reason Pokimane mentioned her gender is that during Gideon's stream, he taunted Poki's male audience and told them no matter how much they donated, Poki wasn't going to sleep with them. Ludwig chimed in on this and basically said that this is just something Pokimane has to deal with.
Do is have sex with Poki, which, you know, it sucks. That's how
It doesn't just suck. It's not fucking okay. I'm so tired of people acting like it just sucks and it's unlucky. And it just is what it is. I don't want to be in an industry where that just sucks. I do not want it to be is anymore. Please, yes, thank you. I can't even English anymore. I'm so sick of this shit.
There seemed to be a huge divide. A lot of men thought Poki was being overly dramatic, and Ludwig was just pointing out the reality of sexism that exists on Twitch. But others thought Poki's frustration is justified, as she is constantly being sexualized day in and day out when she's just a girl who plays video games. But some people are convinced that Pokimane is lying, and that she purposely tries to
It's a mute. Oh my gosh. I guess Mercy agrees as well. So this is my thing that is I'm gonna say with this. So like the thing with I can't even because he's banned. I can't necessarily like talk about him like that. But listen, I would say it is you gotta be very careful when it comes down to like telling your audience to go into somebody else's Discord or stream as well. What I was saying before is just like you have to be very careful when it comes down to telling your audience to go into somebody else's stream and to say whatever wording. Now L plus ratio, that you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? So I will say it is of like Twitch isn't wrong for in the essence of that, because you do have to be very careful. I've had that happen to me before where somebody went ahead and jokingly did that shit, and it wasn't even just like my Twitch chat, it was also my Discord as well. And I'm like, bro, that's not cool. You can't. That's basically bullying at this point. I have to put it the way how it is. It is bullying. You can't go into somebody, you can't tell your community to go ahead and like just L plus ratio somebody or this and it's like, oh, you suck or whatnot. That is literally textbook bullying in the actual like TOSing of like listing of things of within Twitch. So I can understand that. But I do understand with this man, he do be trolling, but it is harmless. But it just sucks that he still has not gotten his page back yet. Like, it's like this is terrible. But I'm like conflicted. I know it's not Pokimane's fault because in retrospect, she was minding her business and she did have to go ahead and deal with that just coming into her chat and whatnot. I'd be pissed off too if I had to deal with something that's like that. You know what I mean? Just randomly, and you don't even know like the whole premise or whatever. But I think with like other people's opinions of just like bringing up like, oh, the fact that it's like, oh, they're not like the guys aren't gonna sleep with you, like she's not gonna sleep with you because of the fact that it's like you donate this and this. He wasn't wrong for saying that because it is the truth. Like some people, I was just saying this before, some people think when it comes down to like, especially with women streamers, like, oh, if I donate or if I go ahead and I do a bunch of subs and stuff like that, it's a sense of entitlement. And it's not. It is so weird that people think this. Like people can be very unhinged on coming into a streamer's app it is that they don't know. Like, calling it like how it is, but it's the truth. Like people will just come in and just say off the like any one of my mods can tell you it is for a fact that people have came into here, said the most outlandish things as a first time chatter. A first time chatter, you say something off the wall and then get confused to why it is that you get banned. So let alone like it's stuff like that I'm expressing to here. So I can't fault Pokimane for that. I can fault her for the fact that her dropping the N-word and whatnot, because she ain't no business saying that. But I can't fault her for that situation. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate as fuck because it was at the cost of like a streamer not getting his page back still to this day. But I can't fault her for that though. Do I believe it is that she's heavily protected? Yes, she is. Which is why the people will say, hey, listen, you don't want to really mess around with her too much. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what it is that she's capable of doing. And it is the truth. So it's like you have to tread lightly when it comes down to that. But I will say this in general, of like, I would never, if I send you guys to somebody else's like chat and everything, I'm always mindful of this. Because if somebody acts a fool in some form of way, mods, VIPs, or whatever the case may have you, it reflects you as the streamer, which is why it is very important to make sure it is who you have as VIPs and mods is very important, or people is that come from your community, because they're all a reflection of you and vice versa. So if I go into somebody's stream and everything like that, I don't do shit like that. I don't go off the mouth and sitting there talking crazy to people and stuff like that. Not even to like my close friends and shit. But other people from communities do. And that is very hard. I deal with it all the time, so I can understand where it is that she's coming from. But I sympathize with her on that, of just like, yo, like it's annoying. And especially being a woman within Twitch, there's a lot of stuff it is that we have to deal with, and like, unhinging niggas saying some like, crazy shit and whatnot. Like it's not easy. It's not easy. So I can't fault her for the demise of said streamer who no longer still has their page. But I still think it is that they should get their page back? Yes, absolutely. If everybody else is getting unbanned, then I feel like it is that he should get unbanned too.
To appear
What's up,
single
Summer?
to maintain her innocent and single persona. If men assume that she's single, their parasocial bond increases, and they are more likely to send her gifts and money if they truly believe that one day she might notice them. Or maybe she just wants to keep her private life.
I'm not gonna lie with you, especially when it is like, if the public does not know it is that you are in a relationship or not, and especially if they have more of the assumption to where, this is why when it comes down to this, it's like you can't be open that much when it comes down to that on a larger scale. It's like you just can't, because then it gets to the point to where it is like they'd be like, oh well, they're in a relationship, all right, well, I'm no longer supporting this person. I hate to say that, but this is really the truth. This is such a God honest truth. It's both men and women. The moment it is that they find that out, like, oh, this person's like dating this person, or like, oh, whatever the case, this and this, oh, they're in a relationship, oh, they're married, or like, oh, she's pregnant, well, yep, unfollows. It's stuff like that. It's like you wasn't genuinely fucking with the streamer to begin with. You thought in your mind it is that you was going to get with this person, and now it is like, like everybody has a life outside of streaming, so it makes it hard for shit like this, bro. We shouldn't have to tell them the motherfuckers that. I know that, but like it brings them to the point of just like, as much it is like, yes, like you're on the forum, like, and you see me like in the front, you know what I'm saying, but not on camera. But it just makes it more to be like, damn, I can't share everything with y'all. As much as it is, I want to be transparent. There's like a lining to this. There's such like a fine line between being as transparent as possible to where it is like you just do not have the right to know. You're not entitled to these things. I don't have to tell you it is if I don't need to. The only people it is that I need to go ahead and make sure it is that I tell these things to with is the people it is that I'm with. That is it. Point blank. Period. You know what I mean? And I'm glad it is I have like that level of understanding when it comes down to what it is that I do, like with the people that's around me, because it is hard. It's very much hard, to try to have these things separated. Especially people is you went to school with and they see what it is you're doing now and everything like that. Oh boy. Like people like to come into the chat and just like, say like no, I'm not married, but to just say like my full government name and shit like that. Like, first of all, who the do you think you are to sit there and come into my and say my whole entire government name as if like we're cool? Like, I ain't even fuck with you like that in high school. Why the hell are you in here acting as if like we cool? No. Goodbye.
Private, like everyone else. But before Gideon would end up apologizing for his behavior, things took an insane twist. Ninja brought up the situation again when people were in his chat begging him to try to help Gideon get unbanned. In order to get viewers to stop spamming, he claims that he texted his partner manager to help him out.
All right, I sent the text. I don't promise a goddamn thing.
Pokimane did not like this.
Seeing him on a call with Ninja and Ninja like allied with him and saying, oh, like, I'll try to make sure your ban isn't too bad. That's a little weird.
Then she tweeted, "It baffles me when other streamers don't stand up against blatant harassment or misogyny." While discussing all of this on a live stream, Ninja DM'd Poki and let her know that he didn't actually contact his representative at Twitch. We only know this because Poki shared the DM to her audience while she was streaming, with the final words being, "You're making a big mistake." This appeared to be a threat, which was kind of confirmed by a second exposed DM from Ninja's wife, saying that they are considering everything Poki was saying as defamation of character, and they are getting their legal team involved. But these threats never really amounted to anything. Gideon privately and publicly apologized to Pokimane, asking his supporters to stop harassing her social media accounts. He says his actions were corny and he was being petty. Pokimane responded by accepting his apology, and they even did a collaboration together and consider each other friends to this day. It's pretty clear that Gideon made a mistake, owned up to his mistake, and the person who was the victim in the situation forgave him. But Twitch still has banned Gideon, and they do not plan on allowing him to come back to their platform. Free Gideon, y'all. But Pokimane's
Right, can we get this man his page back? This sucks. They done made up and everything. Like, this is a bull man. They said, yeah, you can't do anything about it. Twitch ain't backing you up. You're not gonna get the benefits that she's getting for being pretty. You gotta deal with it on your own. Meanwhile, a motherfucker says her neck crooked, and all of a sudden they got the Twitch special forces in their front door with duct tape and a black bag and crowbars. The truth. It is the truth. It is the truth. It is the truth.
overreaction to being sexualized and harassed for being a woman reached a tipping point recently that may just have her ready to quit. Twitch streamer Brandon Ewing, known online as Atrioc, accidentally exposed himself after exiting a game he was streaming and allowing viewers to see all the tabs he had open on his screen, one of which was a website that had deepfake pornographic content. The website featured deepfakes of fellow female streamers such as Pokimane, Maya Higa, QT Cinderella, and many more. Though Atrioc quickly switched tabs without trying to draw attention to them, it was too late. Screen grabs were taken and shared across the internet. Atrioc issued a tearful apology, stating that this is not a pattern of behavior, but that he fell down an AI rabbit hole at 2 a.m. one morning and ended up on the site. However, the website charges $15 a month to watch the provided content, meaning
there's no way you're gonna try. Boy, you're gonna try with this fake tier bullshit, like as if like you didn't just pay for that special yourself. Man, all that. You knew exactly to what it is you was getting yourself into. It's like, oh my God, I fell into a rabbit hole and I ended up onto the page. No, you made an account and you put your credit card information in that. Like, stop fucking playing with my emotions. Damn it. You knew exactly what you was doing. Damn.
That Atrioc must have intentionally created an account and entered his credit card willingly. Atrioc, who is married, made the apology video along with his wife, who was also crying. What made the situation even creepier...
Why the fuck are you crying? Why are both... Man, this pissing me off. Not only is his ass is crying, but she's crying too?
is that he's friends with some of the women featured on the site, with some having already responded. Streamers like QT Cinderella and Sweet Anita spoke out against the deepfake pornography on their respective Twitter accounts, with QT Cinderella expressing the pain that she's facing in the wake of such horrors on a Twitch stream. Female streamers are continuously finding themselves being sexualized without their consent. They are often harassed for simply being a woman within the streaming community, and this is just one more way that they are denied their basic humanity by having these deepfakes of themselves in a sexually explicit manner put on the internet, with very little they can do about it. According to Matthew B. Kugler, a professor of law at Northwestern University, since deepfakes began appearing online in 2015, they've become more convincing every year, growing in quality and quantity. Research by Sensity AI, a company that monitors deepfakes, found in 2018 that 90 to 95% of deepfakes were non-consensual porn, which Kugler explained could be traumatic for the victim. A 2019 report from DeepTrace, a technology research company, found that 99% of pornographic deepfakes featured female celebrities. Psychotherapist Lisa Sanfilippo, whose expertise includes sexual trauma, told Insider that creating false pornographic images is a major violation. She said that for the victim, seeing images of yourself or images that are falsified to look like you in acts that you might find reprehensible, scary, or that would only be for your personal life can be very destabilizing, even traumatizing. There is no ability to give consent there. Basically, everyone agrees that deepfakes are mostly going to be used for bad things, and because of this, people are starting to understand why Pokimane and other female streamers are fed up with being sexualized, because all of those overreactions have built up to this deepfake stuff, which is being denounced by everyone. Pokimane didn't really address the deepfakes as closely as others. She seems really fed up with the constant over-sexualization of her and her peers, and it's not just coming from her obsessive fans, it's also coming from Twitch employees. Just a few months ago, Pokimane opened up to viewers during a live stream about a well-networked professional in the streaming industry who allegedly faked a romantic relationship with Poki to get close to women in her community.
Someone that I and many streamers have been working with for years, someone who was also employed at a large company in the industry, has targeted and manipulated girls specifically in my community by falsifying a romantic and sexual relationship with me.
She explained. Pokimane went on to claim that the individual leaked privileged information he gathered from his job and threatened to harm himself if the targeted girls ever came forward.
A few months ago, a few girls in my community came forward to me with some concerns and asked to speak to my manager. They proceeded to send my manager countless screenshots and videos of their conversation with him, proving the lying and manipulation that was going on.
Pokimane said the person would approach girls in her community and tell them he struggled with mental health issues to gain their trust before sending fabricated conversations between himself and her. He would then allegedly send fake explicit photos of Pokimane, hoping to receive similar images from the women in her community with whom he was speaking. He acted like he knew and hung out with me and my friends in person, she explained. This is someone I've never met. It's truly some of the most disgusting and deplorable behavior I've ever heard of. Pokimane stated that the person was fired after an investigation was conducted into their behavior. This wasn't even the first time someone who worked at Twitch was fired for sexual misconduct. And it seems like Twitch is clearly confused as to where they draw the line with sexual conduct. They want to promote body positivity in their hot tub section, which is very clearly softcore porn that promotes the culture of paying women to be lewd on camera. Twitch also makes a ton of money from this part of their platform, and that's all good and fine to support. But for streamers like Pokimane who just want to play games, they have to deal with the audiences of those lewd streamers who can just click one tab and harass Pokimane. But a lot of people...
And it's not even that, y'all remembered when it is you was able to have twerking emotes and stuff like that. They took all that stuff off, and not only that, you would be damn near put in probation for a couple of months, to where it is if you try to put in any emotes into your account, now it takes longer to get reviewed. um and like you wouldn't be liable to get like certain sponsorships and stuff like that because your account was under that. I'm like, that was, bro. Like I never forget this. Like Asha was the one who created a lot of my original emotes, and she wanted one in particular, like a Gary twerk emote. Fine. At that rate, JoJo Crack, a whole bunch of different people had twerk emotes. Hell, even Berlin, and also Dante had a twerk emote. Fair. And I tried to put it on there, and it got denied. It got denied because of like of sexual lining. Okay, cool. But then there was other streamers who had like twerking emotes, and it was just like, how is it that I'm getting this, but I can't? But you said I think that's why Simba lost her dance emotes. It's a reason to why there's a lot of us lost them. To be honest with you, I noticed I tried to put it up, and Twitch it was like no, off the first rip. So I tried this maybe about like 3 other times, and boy, did it take me such a long time to get back in the good standings. And I'm like, I never had any other offenses or anything like that. So it's like, so twerking is in fact a sexual act. Gotcha. Meanwhile, there's like hot tub streams and everything like that, or like Twitter after dark or Twitch after dark. And I'm like, how is this allowed? How is this allowed, man? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I'm just confused. So we're not gonna discuss that comment on the screen. Oh. Well, this is what I'm talking about.
Don't see it as harassment because the streamers are profiting from it. So then Pokey speaking up just makes people assume she is sensitive and annoying, and that she should be grateful that she is rich. Overall, it seems like she is fed up with all of this. She's streaming less than she ever has, and still finding herself in the middle of controversies. And considering everything that's happened, all the money might not be worth subjecting herself to this bullshit any longer.
I mean, it's the truth. Like, I to deal with that at such like a large scale, like what I mentioned before, when it comes down to like with us streamers, we deal with a lot as it is, especially with us women streamers. Boy, do we deal with a lot. Especially when you're just trying to look normal and stream, or the slightest inkling of me actually like putting on regular clothes and looking decent for stream and whatnot. Like I do this for me, really. Like, like I don't like being at home all freaking day and whatnot. Like I want to go ahead and get dressed up and get cute. I've always been that type of person. Like I'm not necessarily like I'm just kind of gonna be frumpy. Like if we going out somewhere. If we're going out somewhere, I'm gonna make sure it is that I do that. So of course, doing that with like putting on makeup to like my job essentially. Like I've always been that type of person. Hell, I was working within food and had a full face of makeup, full face of makeup, nails done, all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? I've done that before, but it gets kind of weirded when it is you just chilling and there's somebody that comes in here like, hey, with the ultimate riz. Hey, show your tits, like, or some weird shit, and it's just like, gang, I'm just trying to play Minecraft. Like, what the fuck? Like, how did you come in here with this? Like you get what I'm saying? So it just like you don't even have to be trying. You can literally be like, no makeup. Hell, I can put a fucking bonnet on, which I never do. I can put on that bonnet, and then this is still the same thing. It's weird. Stuff like that is like, you know? But hey, listen, very, very interesting video. Very interesting. I know it is a lot of people give Pokimane a lot of hell and whatnot. I'm not going to disparage this woman. I get it. I understand. And streaming less and whatnot, it very much, it just revitalizes your mental state and the things it is that you do have to go through. So I'm not gonna give this woman any type of hard time and whatnot. Some of the things it is I understand wholeheartedly. So W video, man.